Taking responsibility, that is required before any change is possible. Going from I have to go to the gym to I get to go to the gym. Can you see the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundant mindset? The intellectual pillar is how do you learn best? When we talk about NLP, primary rep systems comes into here. So are you a visual learner? Are you a kinesthetic learner? When you know how you learn best, you have unlimited access to knowledge. Welcome to Life by 8, your blueprint for designing your ultimate life. I'm Rebecca Grugan, your architect on this journey to building a life fully lived. Using our 8 pillars to human wellness framework, we'll explore how to transform your everyday from ordinary to extraordinary. So let's go. Today I want to speak into what is the 8 pillars to human wellness framework, what makes Life by 8, and where I want to start with that is making sense of what life design is, and also why doesn't everybody do it? And so life design, we're born and then we grow up if we're lucky, and sometimes we never actually consciously become aware of how we ended up where we are. And I'm wondering, if you drive, have you ever driven home or to some place that you regularly go and you don't actually remember how you got there? Do you remember much of your childhood, your teenage years? Do you know why you drink? Do you know why you spend money the way that you do? There are so many things that people do and have no conscious reality or conscious, awareness of why. And so life design is when you start creating and designing a life with intention. And so that means that you are consciously making choices and decisions in your life. And when you do it well, those conscious decisions and design is also in alignment with the unconscious higher self of you. So life design is something that a lot of people don't do out of fear, the inability to even know where to start, or that it's even possible that they can choose. Because if you think about it, for many, many people, when did you learn how to make choices? Was it when you left high school and all of a sudden you felt left on your own? Is it when you moved out of home for the first time? The reason Montessori as a philosophy is, I'm so passionate about it and is embedded in not only my other company of I Am Montessori and I Am Education, but also in Life by 8 and our framework, is because it's about independence from as early as possible until as long as possible. And it's down here when you're 18 months old, even younger, where you start to choose, where you start to learn how to live with intention, how to design a life that you want. So, yes, I have 3-year-olds in our centers who will decide they want to do mathematics today. And you will have 3-year-olds who decide that they want to do art all day. But they get to choose. And so if you're a parent, one of the best pieces of advice I can give is to start creating choices, or the ability and the opportunity for your children to make choices, because it's the thing, right? If we never actually know how to make a choice, how do we ever do anything with intent? So life design is about living and designing the life and your future with intention. So a lot of people don't do that out of inability, out of fear. And I want to speak into why the 8 pillar framework works so extremely well for those in our community. And so at the base, the foundation, if you can imagine a house being built as a metaphor, right? So if we think about a foundation, a concrete foundation is being built. You have the Rio, or the metal, the wire that goes into the concrete, and then you pour the concrete on top. If you can imagine that your nervous system is that Rio, is the reinforcement that makes this concrete strong, and then you put in communication skills on top of that, and you let it set, so you embody it, you have the strongest foundation possible to build whatever you want on top of that. And then if you use the A4, so you use awareness, acknowledgement, acceptance, and take action. If you utilize that when you are becoming the architect of your life, you then get to start using the pillars to design and build the house of your dreams, i.e. the the life of your dreams. And so we have 8 pillars. The 8 pillars are the physical pillar. So the physical pillar is all about movement, and movement that serves you, movement that you enjoy, something that motivates you. You don't have to just go and do HIIT or go and do Pilates because everybody's doing it. What movement suits you? But it's really important to move your body because that's what it was designed to do. It includes sunlight, so getting access to sunlight to help your circadian rhythm, which then helps your sleep, which is incredibly important and part of the physical pillar. And nutrition, the things that you choose to put into your body and the quality of food that you consume. So the physical pillar is extraordinarily important. When you build that and have that on a strong foundation, it's almost like you feel unstoppable. We have the emotional pillar, which is how you feel. So many people actually lack when it comes to emotional literacy. So many people know mad, sad, glad. That's like 3 emotions. You know, there's over 108 emotions that actually have words to describe a difference. For instance, do you know that many people say, I'm jealous of their car? That's actually not jealousy, that's envy. And when you know those micro differences in emotions, you actually start to be able to shift it. So you might be envious of something that somebody has. But if you know you're envious, you can actually flip that to use that as a driver, as a motivator to get it for yourself or something like it, right? Jealousy usually involves multiple people. So you might be jealous that your best friend talks to somebody else more than you now. It's those simple differences with emotional literacy that can absolutely fundamentally change everything. So you've got the emotional pillar, right? So many people need to be working on that one and want to be working on it, but they don't know where to start. So physical, emotional. We've got intellectual pillar. As somebody who was labelled a diagnosed ADHD and autistic last year myself, right? It gave me an ability to understand how I learn best. So instead of, as I was growing up, wishing that I could finish things, not knowing why I wasn't completing tasks, why I was always moving on to shiny objects. I know I like to wear shiny things, yes. But I would always be distracted by the shiny next thing. And then I would crucify myself because of the lack of discipline and all of these sort of things. The ability to understand that that's how my brain works really turned everything into and supercharged me, and I created my life. I designed my life around knowing this about myself. So the intellectual pillar is, how do you learn best? When we talk about NLP, primary rep systems comes into here. So are you a visual learner? Are you a kinesthetic learner? Are you analytical and AD? Do you like listening to things? How do you learn best? Because when you know how you learn best, you have unlimited access to knowledge, which means that you can actually become and be anything that you want to be because you're getting information in a way that serves you and you have that awareness, right? So the intellectual pillar is super, super important and something that is not explored enough by individuals, but also systems. It's why I love Montessori, because the materials, the concept is given in ways that suits all types of learners, right? Yes, I know it should be more everywhere, but we do it in the workplaces. If you've got staff, how do they learn best? And if it's just you and you're in a job or you're a stay-at-home mom, which is like the hardest job in the world, intellectual, how do you learn best is going to serve you, right? And so moving on to occupational, that is the thing you do for work. And that may be that you're paid to do, or it might be where you volunteer, but your occupation, what is that? And so anything to do with career development, anything to do with, what do you want to build business-wise, all of that falls under the occupational pillar. Then we've got financial pillar. So your financial pillar is how you utilize and invest resources, the financial resources, your financial literacy, because in this current version of reality, your finances is the resource that you use to trade to get the things that you want. So being able to make sense of that resource and then how to multiply it, whether it's through investment and trading or whatever it is for you, the financial pillar falls under that, right? Then you've got environmental, the places and spaces you spend your time. Where you live, what you live in, the state of the place you live in affects you more than you may be aware. And in our environmental pillar, we get even further down to like the details of like, if you are always brushing your daughter's hair on the way to school at the front door, why the fuck do you keep putting the hairbrush in the bathroom? Why not just put it in the drawer near the door? Just because everybody else does things a certain way doesn't mean you have to. So it gives you this knowledge or this permission slip almost to look at your environmental pillar in ways that serve you for the life that you're designing, right? Not just because everybody's doing it, that because the brush should be in the bathroom. So your environmental pillar, super, super important. Your car, for instance, like, are you known? I used to be the person who had 30 water bottles in the back of my car. Are you living out of your car? And I mean that metaphorically and also in reality. Because in this day and age, what's happening in society, there are lots and lots of people actually living in their car. That is their home as well. And so becoming aware of how your car serves you and the energy you put into it, the gratitude you have for having one, that it helps you get from A to B, all of that affects the environmental pillar. Then we've got your social pillar. And your social pillar is the people you spend time with. And there's all the quotes that are all out there about, you become like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Yes, you do. Your energy field, your energetics is affected by the energy you're around. And so there's a reason why you'll be around certain people in your family or friends or at work, that when you spend time with them, you're drained, you feel tired. And then there's going to be people in your life, hopefully, that when you're around, you feel energized and it puts you into an energy-rich state. The social pillar impacts you more than you realize, because we are tribe, we are humans that need to be around other people. We need connection. And so the social pillar covers all of that, right? It gives you the ability to see how people around you are affecting you. It gives you skills on how to explore relationships, how to deepen them, how to meet new people. Do you know how many people will reach out to us and say, I don't know how to make friends? Do you remember in childhood that you just go to a playground and somehow you're playing with kids you've never met before? At some point, beliefs, thoughts, actions get in the way of our ability to connect to other humans. And so the social pillar is extremely important for the quality of your life. Hey, stop for a second. I know you're in the middle of building your life. If you want help with that, I can help you. Whether you join our Architect program where it's working with me one-on-one, or our Build group container, which absolutely has incredible value and will help you design and build that life faster. You can also join us to understand and design your energetic blueprint before there's a 1-day, 2-day event. You can join us there too. There is multiple different ways you can work with us at different investment points. We would love to have you there to help you get, design, and build the life that you want faster. You can see the links below. Feel free to reach out in any DM, in any social media platform. I would love to hear from you. Now, get back to building that life. To recap, we've got physical, emotional, intellectual, occupational, environmental, financial, social, and soul. So soul is, what do you do? What actions do you take that fill your cup, that help you live with purpose? The reason we call it soul, not spiritual, is because the word spiritual can become a block for so many people globally when they may have gone through religious trauma, when they may have lost friends or loved ones to cults. Using soul allows you to make sense of the fact that we can just immediately eliminate a lot of those blockages, and it helps people understand that there is something outside of their physical body, that there is a soul in them. And it's that soul, when it is living in alignment with your physical being, with your conscious and unconscious mind, that is where love, that is where joy, that is where the highest frequencies come from. What's really important for us at Life by 8 is to make sure that as many people have access to the quality of the content we talk about, the concepts and the strategies and the ideas, because the more people that have access to that, the more people can transform their lives and the more ripple effect happens where we actually change the collective consciousness, right? So yeah, we call it soul with intent because spiritual can actually be a block for a lot of people. So we've spoken about what is life design. We've spoken about the 8 pillars to human wellness framework, where nervous system, regulation, communication is your foundation. Then you've got the A4, which are the principles to implement the 8 pillars to human wellness. Then how do you start designing your life, right? And setting intentions and living with purpose. So you start by deciding, you decide that you want things to be different, that you want to start taking back. I'm going to use this word. I'm going to use the word control because a lot of people create chaos in their lives because it's the only thing they know how to control. They don't actually know how to live a life calm and regulated. So they feel safer in the chaos, right? So firstly, it's a decision to take control. It's a decision to decide life is going to be different from here on in, and I'm going to live with intent. So you start designing by choosing you. Then you start actually seeing what's possible. What is actually possible for you? Now, depending on where your nervous system is and how regulated you are and how strong your emotional pillar is, you may struggle here. And that is okay because we're here to help, right? So you choose you. Once you've made that, then it's like, what do you want? Dream as big as you need, dream as big as you want. What are all the things that you desire? Whether they're materialistic, whether they're emotional, whatever it is that you desire. Because you're allowed to desire whatever the fuck you want, right? You just haven't been given permission until now. You could have given your permission at any point. So you've given yourself the permission to dream big. So we're dreaming big. And whatever that looks like for you, you either write that out, you have pictures, you write a list, you have a conversation with a coach, whatever it is for you, you have that. So we have the gap between, right, where you are now at the moment in time that you chose you, and then the dream of the future self, the person you want to be, the things that you want, all the things that you desire. So there's this gap in between, this space in between. Then we start setting intention. So when you've actually put that out on paper, we sort of reverse engineer that. We go, all right, to get from there, where I am right now, but to get from here to here, these are the steps I've got to take, right? This is where the A4 comes in, because you can say you want this and then go out and expect it in 6 months, right? But there's no acceptance in that. If you're $500,000 in debt and you want to have $2 million in your bank account, you might win the lottery, right? And this is what happens when people don't have regulated nervous systems, is that you can win the lotto and lose all the money because you can only hold capacity. You can only hold how much you can hold. And so there is stats around this where people get a large chunk of money come into their life, resources, and they lose it all because they don't have the capacity to hold it. And so you have to embody. So to go from, debt to having lots of money, if that's a lot of money for you, right? If you got that tomorrow, it won't be there because you haven't been able to embody and grow your nervous system to handle what it is to be a millionaire, what it is to hold that. There needs time. Time being a different concept. You can invest in yourself that's going to help you get there faster, but you need the moment to embody. Yes, in this society, we fake it till we make it. And conceptually, that is a great way to look at things. But to have an expectation that you're going to go from here to here on the same day and be able to hold it long term, right? Because the goal is that most people want a great, fulfilling life long term. Then you need to start thinking and feeling what it's like to live long term like that. Can also be a motivator if you're not sure if you're choosing you yet. If your life is long, are you happy for it to keep being the way that it is right now? Right? So we need to increase our capacity to hold. So we can design and reverse engineer back, but we need to make the steps. We need to take the steps, and in those moments, as we set the intentions, we do the things, we take the action, we do the work. We also learn how to be. So we're not just doing, We take the moments to be. And this is where masculine and feminine energy comes into play. I'm not going to go into fucking wearing dresses and all that bullshit, right? I just want to use this as a doing versus being scenario. So designed your life, reverse engineered, you're taking steps, you're taking action, great. You're doing. You have to be. And so when people say about, all these women are in their masculine, blah, 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 what's happening is that we're just in a society where we're all doing and not enough people are being. And so when you take those steps of action towards the life you want to be, also designing into your life the moments and the things that allow you to be. For some of you, that might be running. For some of you, that might be journaling. For some of you, that might be meditation. For some of you, that might be playing with your children. For some of you, playing with your children is doing. This is the thing, right? Knowing your energetic blueprint allows you to flow between your masculine and feminine, your doing versus being, more intentionally. So when you have designed your life to have doing and being embodied, you start to move like this, right? So instead of it being like this, which if you are somebody who's like an entrepreneur and you just love fucking figures and graphs, and it's like, as long as the line is going up like this, right? Cool. What about if it was like this? What if you're flowing, you're doing and being and doing and being? Wonder what life would be like for you, right? I don't have to wonder because that's how I live my life. So you get to do and you get to be and you get to move up and you get to do it in grace and you get to do it in calm and you get to do it beautifully and on your terms, right? That is a life of abundance. That is a life where you're not in survival, you're thriving. And what I want, and one of my biggest drivers in the work that I do, is to ensure that people realize that living in abundance is not just about having $2 million in your account. Living in abundance is in the joy, is in this moment where you get to choose how you spend your time. Because you get to choose now, even if you work full time and you have 3 children at home and your husband's never home, you still get to choose you. Because all of that is choice. And it's as simple as like when you're designing that life, even in your language of, I have to do this. But what if you get to? What if just that simple change of going from I have to go to the gym to I get to go to the gym? Can you see the difference between a scarcity mindset and an abundant mindset? How fucking cool is it that you get to? How cool is it that you get to cook dinner for people who love you, for the people you love? How cool is it that you get to wash the dishes up after the people you love ate something that you created for them, instead of have to, right? These things are the difference between doing and being in flow. Yeah, the doing, I've got to cook dinner. The being, I get to. And so when you see that magic in your life, in the micro moments, you actually won't give a fuck about the money. You won't. Because it's those moments why we exist as humans. And so my driver is for more people to see those moments in their life because you already have them. Living life by design literally is changing out a filter. Do I want to see it through this lens or this lens? You choose. But you have to consciously actually choose. And so when we do this, we get to live a life in purpose. We get to live life by 8. Funnily enough, this is the first time I'm doing it live, but that is an 8 upside down, right? And so what if I went this way? Same, right? Living life by 8. It's fucking magical. And so how to start? Actually decide and choose you. Actually then put a list out together. Set intention, declare. Because you have to declare to start to manifest, to start to get it, to start to receive, right? Accept, so go through the A4, actually accept that life is, you are where you are right now because of the choices you've made consciously or unconsciously. But until you accept where you are right now, you cannot actually change. Taking responsibility, that is required before any change is possible. So responsibility, acceptance, taking action towards where you are now towards your future self, and allowing yourself to do that through abundance, through that flow, through the masculine and feminine, through the doing and the being. That's actually what life design is. And so If you want help with any of that, we have a number of offerings. You can come to our day workshops. You can come to our retreats. We have a 2-day workshop. You can come to our group coaching container. You can have one-on-one coaching with myself, or sometimes we've got a number of coaches who have availability as well, who live life by 8. We have the options that are there to help you become the best version of you and to help you get from where you are now to that future self. Bring that difference, the time difference between those. Investing in yourself helps you get there faster. But you don't need to do it either. You just get to choose. You have to, or you get to. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you choose below in the comments. And if you've loved this podcast or any of this content, please share it on, because the energy of sharing is giving back to others as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me living life by 8. If this episode hit home, brought value to you in any way, I would love your support with a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And don't forget to subscribe on your favorite platform too. And don't let your journey end here. Connect with me and my community at Rebecca Grugan on all social platforms. I look forward to going deeper with you on your journey.